Aeroflot Flight 1492 was a scheduled passenger flight from Moscow, Sheremetyevo to Murmansk, Russia, on the 5th of May 2019. The Sukhoi Superjet 100 aircraft operating the flight was climbing out when it was struck by lightning. The aircraft suffered an electrical failure and returned to Sheremetyevo for an emergency landing. It bounced on landing and touched down hard, causing the landing gear to collapse, fuel to spill out of the wings, and a fire to erupt. The fire engulfed the rear of the aircraft, killing 41 of the 78 occupants. Accident. Flight 1492 took off from runway 24 degrees Celsius at Sheremetyevo International Airport, bound for Murmansk Airport, on the 5th of May 2019 at 18:03 local time. Towering cumulonimbus clouds were observed in the vicinity of the airport with a base of 6 feet and peaking at about 29 feet. The clouds were moving in a northeasterly direction at a speed of 40–45 kilometers per hour. When the plane was approaching the thunderstorm zone, a 327-degree heading was selected manually at 18:07 local time, initiating a right turn earlier than it is prescribed by the KN-24E standard instrument departure, but the crew did not request active thunderstorm area avoidance clearance. At 15:08 UTC, the aircraft was climbing through flight level 89 when it was struck by lightning. The primary radio and autopilot became inoperative, and the flight control mode changed to direct, a degraded, more challenging mode of operation. The captain assumed manual control of the aircraft. The transponder code was changed to 760 at 15:09 UTC and subsequently to 770 at 15:26 UTC while on final approach. The secondary radio remained operative and the crew were able to restore communication with air traffic control and made a pan-pan call on the emergency frequency. The aircraft stopped its climb at flight level 106 and was guided towards Sheremetyevo by ATC. It performed a right orbit before lining up for approach to runway 24 liters. The crew tuned into the instrument landing system, and the captain flew the approach manually. Upon capturing the glide slope, the aircraft's weight was 43.5 tons, 1.6 tons over the maximum landing weight. At 15 hours, 18 minutes and 53 seconds UTC, the captain attempted to contact the controller to request a holding area, but his message was not recorded by the controller's recorder. The flaps were lowered to 25 degrees, which is the recommended setting for an overweight landing in direct mode. The wind was blowing from 190 degrees at 30 knots, a 50-degree crosswind, and the speed stabilized at 155 knots. Between 100 feet and 900 feet AGL, the predictive wind shear warning sounded repeatedly, go around, WINDSHEAR ahead. The crew did not acknowledge this warning on tape. Descending through 260 feet, the aircraft began to deviate below the glide slope and the GLIDESLOP oral alert sounded. The captain called advisory and increased engine thrust, and the speed rose through 164 knots at 40 feet to 170 knots at 16 feet AGL, 15 knots above the required approach speed. Although the airline's own flight operations manual provides pilots with a margin of 5 to plus 20 kT as a criterion for stabilized approach, as he reduced the thrust to idle for the flare, the captain made several large, alternating sidestick inputs, causing the pitch to vary between +6 and 2 degrees. The aircraft made simultaneous ground contact with all 3 landing gear legs 900 meters beyond the runway threshold at a speed of 158 knots, resulting in a vertical acceleration of 2.55 grams. Concurrently with the touchdown, in the span of 0.4 seconds, the sidestick was moved from full aft to full forward. Though the spoilers were armed, automatic spoiler deployment is inhibited in direct mode and they were not extended manually. The aircraft bounced to a height of 6 feet. The captain attempted to apply maximum reverse thrust while he continued to hold the sidestick in the fully forward position. Reverse thrust and reverser door deployment is inhibited in the absence of weight on the aircraft's wheels, and the reverser doors only began to open upon the second touchdown. The aircraft lifted off the ground before the reverse door cycle was completed and reverse thrust did not activate. The second touchdown occurred 2 seconds after the first, nose first, at a speed of 155 knots and with a vertical load of 5.85 grams. The main landing gear weak links sheared. The weak links are designed to shear under heavy load to minimize damage to the wing, allowing the gear legs to move up and backwards, and the wing remained intact. The aircraft bounced to a height of 18 feet. The thrust levers were advanced to take off power, the reverser doors began to close, and the sidestick was pulled full aft in a possible attempt to go around. Thrust was not allowed to increase until the reverser doors were closed and a third impact was recorded at a speed of 140 knots, and with a vertical load in excess of 5 grams. The landing gear collapsed, penetrating the wing, and fuel spilled out of the wing tanks. A fire erupted, engulfing the wings, rear fuselage and empennage. Fire alarms sounded in the cockpit for the aft cargo hold and the auxiliary power unit. The aircraft slid down the runway, veered to the left and came to a standstill on the grass between two runway adjoining taxiways with the nose facing upwind at 1530 UTC. Power to the engines was cut at 1531 UTC. Flight recorder data suggests that control over the engines had been lost after the final impact. An evacuation was carried out from the front passenger doors, and their slides were deployed. The first officer used the escape rope to climb out of a cockpit window. Aeroflot claimed the evacuation took 55 seconds, though video evidence shows the slides still in use 70 seconds after their deployment. Passengers were seen carrying hand luggage out of the aircraft. The rear half of the aircraft was destroyed by the fire, which was extinguished about 45 minutes after landing. Criminal proceedings. A criminal investigation was opened into a fatal violation of the rules of safe movement and exploitation of air transport. The investigative committee said on the 6th of May it was considering insufficient skill of the pilots, dispatchers and those who performed the technical inspection of the plane, along with mechanical problems and poor weather, as a possible cause of the accident. A high-ranking law enforcement source told Lenta.ru that experts would examine the actions of Sheremetyevo's fire and rescue service. The source said air traffic control were late with raising the alarm and fire engines had not left the fire station at the time of the accident. Only 2 of the 6 available engines were involved within the first 6 minutes, and they were not filled with foam, which is more effective against a fuel-fed fire than water. Experts will have to answer more than 50 questions. On the 2nd of October 2019, investigators filed charges against the captain. According to a spokeswoman for the Russian Investigative Committee, his actions violated the existing regulations and led to the destruction and outbreak of fire. Prosecutors are seeking a 7-year jail term. Below if part of the CVR transcript from the moment of the lighting strike with a FDR overlay. At 15 hours, 8 minutes and 3 seconds, the approach controller instructed the crew to climb to FL 110. When the FO confirmed receiving the instruction, recorded by the CVR, the sound effect lasting for 1.5 seconds, starting from 15 hours, 8 minutes and 9 seconds 7, was recorded. Most probably, at this stage, an atmospheric electricity impact affected the aircraft. 3 seconds prior, the FDR started to record the single commands, indicating the engagement of the permanent ignition on the both engines. At 15 hours, 8 minutes and 11 seconds, the crew set new selected altitude of 11,008 feet and the new selected vertical speed of 3,281 feet per minute, and the VRTCIAL speed divided by versus mode was engaged. At 15 hours, 8 minutes and 11 seconds 9, the disengagement of the autopilot occurred, accompanied by the corresponding oral alert, and the switching of the automatic flight control system into the direct mode with the audio alert direct mode. Direct mode. After the sound effect, simultaneously with the autopilot disengagement, the emotional exclamation of one of the crew members was recorded, "Wow!" The auto throttle continued to be engaged. The aircraft was in twentidig right roll, crossing FL 89 and climb. Starting from 15 hours, 8 minutes and 12 seconds, during 15 seconds, the FDRs incorrectly recorded single commands and the analog parameters, which are usually recorded via the electronic interface unit, EIU-100. 2 single commands and EIU-1 fault and EIU-2 fault were recorded simultaneously. The conducted examinations have shown that, most probably, at that stage, a reboot of the data concentrator units occurred, which caused the switching of the automatic flight control system into the direct mode. According to the list of special situations for the RRJ-95B aircraft during the certification, this event had been classified as a complicated situation. After the switching to the direct mode, the flaps ICE configuration was engaged automatically. Starting from 15 hours, 8 minutes and 16 seconds, the aircraft control was switched to manual control from the left-hand side pilot station. During a period of approximately 4 seconds, starting from the moment of the autopilot disengagement and until the PIC took over the aircraft control, the right roll decreased to 13 deg. Pitch attitude increased. The PIC's first control input from was affecting the roll channel. The sidestick was declined to 11.7 deg to the left. After that, the sidestick was advanced to 6.8 deg. Further sidestick control movements both in the roll and in pitch channels was of an abrupt and intermittent character. At 15 hours, 8 minutes and 22 seconds, the aircraft was turned to the right via multiple impulse deflections of the sidestick ranging from 30% to 65%. To set the roll of 20 deg, the pilot performed more than 10 roll deflection movements of the sidestick during a period period of 18 seconds. Moreover, at different moments of the further flight, the priority divided by APOFF8 button was pressed momentarily on the left side stick 6 times. At 15 hours, 8 minutes and 47 seconds, the auto throttle was disengaged by the overriding movement of the thrust lever. At 15 hours, 9 minutes and 17 seconds, the aircraft was put out of the right roll mode and was set to the heading of about 6 Idig. After short discussion with the FO, the PIC made the decision to return to Sheremetyevo and ordered the FO to report pan-pan. After several failed attempts to contact the controller on the working frequency via VHF Station 1, at 15 hours, 9 minutes and 32 seconds, after a discussion, the crew set the 760 squawk code. At 15 hours, 9 minutes and 35 seconds, radio contact was restored at the emergency frequency via VHF Station 2. After that, at 15 hours, 9 minutes and 39 seconds, the FO reported the approach controller, Moscow approach, request return of 14 minutes 92, radio lost, aircraft in direct mode. The controller issued an instruction to descend to FL80. Maximum altitude the aircraft gained was 10,600 feet. The crew responded, Aeroflot 14 minutes 92, heading 0 minutes 57, descending to FL8 minutes 0. The controller confirmed the clearance for the descent with the maintained present heading. Further flight until the moment of the glide slope capture was performed by means of vectoring. At 15 hours, 9 minutes and 52 seconds, the crew set the selected altitude of 8,000 feet and disengaged the FMS speed control mode, set the selected speed of 250 kT, and put the aircraft into the descent mode. In descending, the PIC maintained the indicated airspeed by changing the pitch angle and the thrust levers positions. Upon each receipt of the controller's instructions, the crew set the new selected altitude. At 15 hours, 12 minutes and 32 seconds, the PIC explained to the purser that the aircraft was returning to the airdrome of departure and emphasized, "No emergency, we are simply going back." At 15 hours, 12 minutes and 43 seconds, the controller instructed the crew to turn right to the heading of 104 Idig and to descend to FL 900 meters QFE. At 15 hours, 12 minutes and 47 seconds, the selected heading of 104 Idig was set, and the PIC set the aircraft into the right turn. The turning was performed with the roll, changing within the range of 13 deg to 22 deg. In the process of turning, when receiving the corresponding instruction from the controller, the selected heading was set to 106 Idig. Upon the controller request, any assistance required. The crew responded, "No, so far everything is normal, standard." Upon the controller's request for clarification, the crew responded that they were having problems with the radio communication and that the automatic flight control had been lost. At 15 hours, 13 minutes and 11 seconds, the PIC ordered to perform the QRHF CTL direct mode section. The FO initiated the performance of the QRH Auto FLT app off section 2 times, because these actions were interrupted by his communication with the controller. At 15 hours, 14 minutes and 36 seconds, the aircraft was put on heading of 107 Idig. At 15 hours, 15 minutes and 5 seconds, the controller instructed the crew to turn right to the heading of 108 Idig and to descend to 600 meters QFE. At 15 hours, 15 minutes and 10 seconds, the selected heading was set to 181 Dig, and at 15 hours, 15 minutes and 27 seconds the selected altitude was set to 2,592 feet 9, and did not change till the end of the record. At 15 hours, 15 minutes and 34 seconds, the controller cleared the crew for the ILS Yankee approach, RWY-24 left. After the permission confirmation, the FO started reading section QRHF, CTL direct mode, inter alia, auto throttle should not be used, fly smoothly, balance manually, speed brake no less than a half, use flaps 3, TAWS, landing gear, flaps 3 on, V approach, V reference plus 10, landing distance, increase by 1 minute 34, speed brake set to full after touchdown, go around lever to NTO. At 15 hours, 16 minutes and 54 seconds, the controller instructed, proceed right heading 210 till localizer capture. At 15 hours, 17 minutes and 39 seconds, the FO, after the command from the PIC, reported to the controller that the crew was not ready to perform landing approach and requested an orbit, but then corrected himself. The circuit and the controller responded, heading 360 to the right. At 15 hours, 18 minutes and 53 seconds, the PIC tried to contact the controller himself, Aeroflot 14 minutes 92, holding area above Kilo November, if possible. The message was not recorded by the controller's recorder. The PIC did not raise this question again. When performing an orbit flight at 600 meters QFE, the PIC could not maintain the altitude precisely. During right turns with roll-up to Fort Idig, the deviation from the selected altitude exceeded plus 200 feet, and that triggered multiple oral alerts. The The PIC was aware of that, at 15 hours, 22 minutes and 53 seconds, how come, plus minus 200 feet. During the orbit flight performance, the FO was reading out the QRH over maximum landing weight landing. The weight of the aircraft was about 42,600 kilograms, which exceeded the maximum landing weight by 1,600 kilograms. To gain the maximum thrust in order to be able to perform the go-around, the crew switched off the engine air bleed supply to the conditioning system. The FO also read out that the maximum vertical speed of descent before the touchdown must be no more than 360 feet per minute. At 15 hours, 20 minutes and 41 seconds, the crew started the APU. At 15 hours, 21 minutes and 38 seconds, at 225 kT the crew initiated the flaps deployment to flaps 1. At 15 hours, 23 minutes and 3 seconds, after the PIC's order, the FO reported the controller that the crew was ready for landing. At 15 hours, 23 minutes and 19 seconds, at 190 kT the crew initiated the flaps deployment to flaps 2. At 15 hours, 23 minutes and 58 seconds the crew started the landing gear extension. At 15 hours, 24 minutes and 2 seconds, the crew armed the speed brake system. Note: automatic speed brake deployment mode which can be engaged during the landing, and